Croeso Pawb to the planet of the discounts PSN sale. If you like finding cool games to play and saving a lot of money on games, you're in the right place. I've gone through the sales and I found some really good deals for you, so don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss a good deal again. You're welcome here anytime. Just in case you were wondering if I missed a sale last time, nope, I didn't. I don't know what's going on with the sales at the moment, but Sony are putting out 2 sales at a time, which is normal, but the games are identical. Well, they seem to be in both sales, so I'm only covering the biggest of the 2 because they're basically the same. I'm assuming it's a mess up on their end, but hey, until they work that out, I'm just going to cover one of them. There's no point covering the same sale twice under a different name. Okay, let's look at the games. First up is A Knight's Tale. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.99, which is really good. In this action adventure, which is basically a Zelda ripoff, which no one could complain about I don't think, you get to play as Rusty, who accidentally starts at the end of the world, and now sets out to solve puzzles, fight enemies, defeat huge bosses, and platform his way to saving the world, while unlocking spirit abilities to master fire, ice, and time along the way. This game has mixed reviews, but it looks really good to me. Like I said, it's a Zelda ripoff in all aspects, which is great because there's not many games like that outside of a Nintendo console. It may not be as good as a Zelda game, but at this price, if you like those sorts of games, why not take a look at it? You might have a lot of fun, you never know. It looks pretty good to me. And if you've never played a game like this before, then again at this price, you might want to take a chance on it. Like I said, it's got mixed reviews, but you can't expect too much for this price, and it's got big shoes to fill. So if you're not expecting too much, you might have a lot of fun with this game. Why not take a look? Our next game is an old school favourite of mine, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, but it's a remake of a game that's much older than that really, like Master System Age, if you remember what that is anyway. And it's on a 70% discount for the price of £4.79, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. As this version of the classic game is remastered with new HD graphics, a retro graphics mode so you can play it like the old days, a boss rush mode, gameplay improvements, new animations, and new levels as well, so you're getting the best version of the game, well improved with a ton of extra content as well, which is really good. This is an old school platformer where Redaxion is under attack and they need a hero, and you'll just have to do. As Alex Kidd, you must defeat the evil Jankin the Great and his lieutenants to become the hero Redaxion needs. Back in the days of the Master System, Alex Kidd was huge. It came free, built into some of the consoles, and he was as big as Sonic back in the day. He hasn't been around since then, but he was legendary in those days, and I grew up playing this game in particular, the original that is, and I really loved it. It was a really good platformer, and it was a lot of fun as a kid. And what really made it stand out back then is you can ride a number of vehicles. There's helicopters, bikes, boats, there's all sorts of stuff you could ride in the levels. It was really cool, and it made some of the levels very interesting and fun, mixing it up all the time. Not to mention the now legendary boss battles, where you play rock, paper, scissors against them, and you have to learn how they play to beat them at their own game. So if you're a fan of platformers and old school games, you'll love this, especially if you've never played it. It's a legendary retro game brought onto the modern consoles. So if that sounds as great to you as it does to me, why not check it out? I'm sure you'll love it. And hey, if you've never played a platformer before, this is a really good game to start with, but it's not that cheap at the moment, so I wouldn't recommend it right now, because you can get other games of equal quality, or even newer masterpieces as well, for cheaper than this on sale, so you're probably better off starting with one of them instead. So don't forget to subscribe, and then you won't miss them when they go on sale. We have an action adventure next, Ari and the Secret of the Seasons. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £5.24, which isn't bad. In this action-adventure, a mysterious force has thrown the seasons of Valdi into disarray, and the young Moriariel sets out to help the 4 Guardian Sages by finding the source of the mayhem, overcoming monstrous enemies, and secret plots along the way to save the land. They don't make that many third-person action-adventure games like this anymore. In the days of N64, PlayStation 1 and all of that, there was tons of these games around, and a lot of them were really good fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to see games like this occasionally. Brings back some good memories. So if you're nostalgic for these sorts of games like I am, or you really like them in general, why not take a look at this one? It's a pretty good one by the look of it, and I think you'd probably like it. And hey, if you've never played an action-adventure like this before, I wouldn't recommend starting here, because you can get other ones cheaper than this on sale, and there are much more AAA ones around as well, so there's plenty of options in this genre, and you can always pick them up instead. There are better deals around. so why not subscribe, and then I'll help you find them when they're on sale next. Our next game is Bear With Me The Complete Collection. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £1.79, which is dirt cheap, as this edition includes all of the episodes, and the DLC prequel The Lost Robots as well, so you're getting the complete version of the game, with all of the content included, which is really good. In this point-and-click adventure, you play a film noir adventure filled with dark interrogations, sarcastic banter, and puzzles. This game was highly acclaimed and promises an emotional roller coaster that determines your protagonist's fate. As I always say, point-and-click adventures aren't for everyone, because the logic can be a bit obtuse sometimes, and that can put people off, or ruin the experience for them, which can make them frustrating sometimes. But hey, what they do have going for them is they usually have cool stories and good art styles as well, and this is no exception. It's got a really cool film noir art style that I think a lot of people will like, so if you're a fan of point-and-click adventures and you like film noir, why not take a look at this one? You'll probably love it. And hey, if you've never played a point-and-click adventure before, then you might want to start here. It's a really good discount, and it's a really good game by the look of it as well. There are a lot of point-and-click adventures that get down to this price on sale, so you do have a lot of options. So if you're not fussed about film noir, or there's another one you've got your eye on instead, you can always wait for that as well, because most of them are about this price on sale. But don't worry about that, I'll let you know when they're on sale next. We have another point-and-click adventure next, Beautiful Desolation. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is dirt cheap, as this version includes a free digital art book, and the soundtrack as well, which is really cool. In this point-and-click adventure, you and your brother have been flung into a futuristic era ruled by highly advanced technologies, so now you must explore a post-apocalyptic African world with over 40 fully voice-acted characters and full of many beautiful varied locations and factions. There's a lot of developers that like to make old-school inspired games, but you don't see many games like this. You see a lot of point-and-click adventures, but not with this isometric style. It's really cool and different to me, and I think if you like retro games, you'll probably really enjoy this. So why not take a look at it? It's definitely different, and that's a good thing to me. I think people could have a lot of fun with this. And hey, if you've never played a game like this before, you know, like if you're under 50, then you might want to take a look at this, especially if you like retro games, or games that are a bit different than normal. I've seen a lot of people say that the world in this game is really great, and you get really immersed in it. Why not take a look at it? Broken Age is our next game. It was released in 2015, so it's 8 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £1.79, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a phenomenal deal for a game of this quality from a studio that's this legendary. That's a really good deal. In this point-and-click adventure, you follow the story of Vela and Shay, two teenagers from two different worlds, but with strangely similar situations. You get to help them both take control of their own lives and deal with the unexpected adventure that unfolds before them. There was a bit of controversy when this game came out, because it's by a big studio that crowdfunded a lot of money for it, and when they came to release it, they only released half the game, and then released the other half later, after raising more money, which really annoyed people understandably. So it got a bit of a bad rap, mainly because the developers were a bit rubbish with how they'd handled the situation, and who can blame them, they really did mess it up. But the main thing is, this is a good game. I've completed it myself, and I really enjoyed it. As far as point-and-click adventures go, this one's not the best one I've ever played, but it's really good, and the puzzles were less frustrating than most point-and-click adventures, which is great. So if you're a fan of Double Fine, or you like point-and-click adventures, this is a really high production one. I mean, it's got a ton of voice actors in it, including Jack Black, Elijah Wood, and a load of other famous people. If you're a fan of point-and-click adventures, you'll probably really enjoy this one, so if you haven't played it, definitely take a look at it. And hey, if you've never played a point-and-click adventure before, this is a really good one with a really good story by a legendary producer, and it's at a dirt cheap price as well. So if you've always wanted to try one of these, I'd highly recommend starting with this one. You're not going to have a better place to start than a game like this. Definitely check this out. You may just find your new favourite genre. Next up, we have Demon Gaze 2. It was released in 2016, so it's 6 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £4.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal. In this dungeon crawler, Magnastar has spellbound the people of Espire into obeying him, but you are the Demon Gazer, able to wield the power of demons to start a revolution to liberate the people of Espire. So it looks like a pretty standard anime storyline, but it's a very old school dungeon crawler, the type that hasn't been around for decades. Whereas first person, you pick the direction you go and you see what's there. If you were around in those days and you love those games, then you'll probably really enjoy this. But if you've never heard of them and you don't know what I'm talking about, this is very unlikely to be a game you'll enjoy. But hey, if you like trying something different and you want to take a chance, you might just want to take a look at it. But there are other options that do get cheaper than this. So if you're not sure, you might want to check out another sale instead. We have a VR game next, Espire 1 VR Operative. It was released in 2019, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 60% discount for the price of £6.39, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal. In this VR stealth action game, move controllers are required, which is great because games like this really benefit from move controller support. It just makes them so much more immersive and much more fun to play in VR. But if you don't have them, you won't be able to play this game, so keep that in mind. In this game, as an Espire agent, you pilot remote operatives from the safety of your control center. You get to sneak, climb, take hostages with voice recognition, hide bodies, throw items to cause distractions, and engage in full-on gunfights as well. So basically, if you wanted to be a spy, sneaking into places, killing people, and extracting targets and stuff, this is for you. You'll probably love this in VR. It looks like it's got some cool mechanics like the voice recognition and taking hostages and stuff. I haven't played it myself, but if they deliver on half of the stuff they promised to, I'm sure it's a really enjoyable game, and it'll be so much fun in VR as well. So if you like the sound of it as much as I do, this is the best price it's been on for ages, so why not take a look at it? And hey, if you haven't played a VR stealth game before, there's not that many of them around, and this looks like a really good one, at a pretty decent price as well. So if you're interested, you should definitely check it out. It might just be the game you've been looking for. Next up, we have the Metro Saga bundle. It was released in 2021, so it's 2 years old, but the games are much older than that really, and it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £7.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a phenomenal deal, as this bundle includes Metro 2033 Redo, Metro Last Light Redo, and Metro Exodus Gold Edition, with all of the DLC for all 3 games, and the first 2 are remastered with 60 FPS graphics as well, so you're getting the best versions of the games, and all of the content included, which is amazing. Bundles don't get much better than this. In these first-person shooters, where you get to play the critically acclaimed trilogy of games, set in a post-apocalyptic Russia in the underground metro system, venturing into the wasteland, fighting humans and mutants for survival. They're a legendary series. Everybody that plays them really loves them. They're just really great examples of story-driven first-person shooters. So if you like your shooters with story and great atmosphere, you'll enjoy these games a lot, and you're getting so much content for your money. It's really unbelievable. And hey, if you haven't played a story-driven first-person shooter before, then this is a great deal for you. If you're okay with getting 3 full games and playing through that much content, then you should definitely take a chance on them. They're worth looking at. 3 AAA amazing games at a really good price. You can't really ask for much more, can you? We have a twin-stick shooter next, Ruiner. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the crazy low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a phenomenal deal. This is a twin-stick shooter set in 2091, where you are a wired psychopath who teams up with a secretive hacker friend to fight a corrupt system and rescue your brother. It features a large variety of weapons, gadgets and skills. This had rave reviews when it came out, and a lot of people loved it, and these days there's not a lot of twin-stick shooters made. If you've been looking for one, then this is a good one. You should definitely check it out. And if you've never played a twin-stick shooter before, this wouldn't be the worst game to start with, so why not take a look at it? Up next, we have a puzzle game, Serial Cleaner. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, and is on a 90% discount for a low price of £1.19, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good deal for a really interesting looking game. In this puzzle game, you are the cleaner, a professional crime scene cleaner for the mob. You get to sneak around crime scenes, avoiding detection, and removing all the evidence including bodies, blood and weapons, before the police turn up and you get caught in the act. This looks like a really cool, unique and quirky puzzle game, and I really like the premise of it. It looks really cool and interesting to me. I'm probably going to pick it up myself and have a great time. If you're a fan of puzzle games and you like something a bit different, you should definitely check this out. And hey, if you've never played a puzzle game before, but you like the sound of this one, it's at a really good price. It's really different and unique. I would definitely recommend it. Why not take a look at it? You might just love it as much as I think you will. Our next game is Stories Untold. It was released in 2020, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of 79 pence, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a ridiculous price for a good game. This is a story anthology, which contains 4 unique and different short stories, with their own unique gameplay and mechanics. It features classic text adventure, a point-and-click adventure, radio transmission processing, and bizarre experiments. It kinda gives off a Stranger Things vibe, combining sci-fi, mystery, and psychological horror for a bit of variety in the gameplay. This may not look like the most exciting game you could buy, but it's definitely unique and different. If you like cool little indie games, and ones with a variety of gameplay, you'll probably really enjoy these. If they've piqued your interest as much as I think they have, then definitely check them out. They're different, and you might really enjoy them. And hey, if you haven't played cool little indie games like this before, then at this price, I definitely recommend it. You're getting 4 little experiences for a really good price, so you can't go far wrong really. If it's piqued your interest, definitely check them out. And the final game I have for you is my star buy, Sublevel 0 Redo. It was released in 2017, so it's 6 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and it's been a really long time since this has been on sale as well. This is a roguelike, where you get to pilot a little gunship, looting and crafting ancient technology as you descend into a vast underground facility, fighting through procedurally generated zero-G environments to save yourself and your clan. I've played this game myself, and I really like it. The basic gameplay is really fun and addictive, which is really good for roguelikes. You need that gameplay loop to be enjoyable, and with different ships to unlock, different weapon combinations to work out, as you get to combine different weapons into new, more powerful weapons, and also you can upgrade your engines and your ship hull and other stuff as well. So it has all of the usual features of a roguelike, but it's just a really fun one. There's not that many ship piloting games around these days, so seeing a really cool little roguelike one was really interesting to me, and I really enjoy playing it. So if you like roguelikes or piloting ships, you should definitely check this out. It's a really fun little game, and it's really cheap as well. And hey, if you've never played a roguelike before, then this is a pretty decent game to start with, especially if you like piloting ships or sci-fi games. You might really enjoy this. The gameplay is fun, and the different weapons and ships keep it interesting. It's always fun to have one more go with a different ship, or by picking up different weapons, or going for a different strategy. So if you've always wanted to try a roguelike, why not check this one out? It's a really good one. Like I said, it's my star buy. It's definitely worth your money. And that's all the games I have for the Planet of the Discounts PSN sale. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the star buy? Did it deserve it? Or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your complaints down in the comments and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some games you're interested in. But more importantly, I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.